Good day, viewers of Embassy Direct. Today we're continuing with our new segment, Former to Former. And we're in the pleasant company of my old friend, Harry Partap from Trinidad and Tobago. Harry, how are you?
Morning. I said morning from Trinidad. We are mid-morning here, and good evening to your brother. Fine, yeah.
I'm very happy to see you again. I think it has been a few years since you finished your term. And well, we always had a very good relationship, especially the spouses. Your dear wife, there was a lot of interaction between the ladies. And of course, ourselves, being you from the Caribbean and myself almost there in the Caribbean and Central America, we had many commonalities. Unfortunately, I've never been to your country, and I think that's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
But Harry, please share with our viewers, make us a short introduction about yourself. Explain them that like me, we were not diplomatic career heads of mission, but our work was the one that actually allowed us to serve our country during the term that we were in South Africa.
Sure. First of all, let me thank your organization, Embassy Direct, for this opportunity to reconnect with South Africa. I always believe that South Africa has been one of the nicest places on earth here. Well, apart from Trinidad, Trinidad is the that's a minute. So I enjoyed the close to 5 years that I spent there. So in South Africa, what happened is after at the end of in around September 2015, there was an election in Trinidad, and in that election, the party that I supported had lost the election. So and it is normal for ambassadors to be recalled. So in October 2015, I left South Africa. I went back to Trinidad. When I went back, I was 74 or 75 years old. So it meant that that it was time for me to get to retirement. So I went straight into retirement, but not the kind of retirement to stay on a rocking chair in the gallery and enjoy the sun and the breeze, right? So I was occupied, and during that period between 2015 and present, I was able to publish 2 books and doing research. One is on the first Prime Minister of woman Prime Minister in Trinidad, and the struggles that she had to get into the into office. So that was the first one. And the second one I did, it was on the history of the church that I served in. The church is 138 years old, and I did the history of the church. So that right now I'm working on 2 other books. One is on my memoirs, because I served as a teacher. I served as a journalist in one of the major newspapers in Trinidad. I served as a member of parliament. Served as a minister of labor, and then finally as an ambassador. And we went into it, and that's where we met in South Africa, and we had such a happy time, a good time there, interacting with each other through the Gulag. Yeah, and remember the Gulag operation there. We were able to link with schools and get the school children to play football, and we had a competition, and it was lovely. We had a lovely time here. So I still keep in touch with the school, Cabo Primary, and they do well, because when I left there in 2015, we were able our embassy, we were able to establish a computer room for them. We were not able to get the computers, but we got a room prepared and so on, and I think they said they use it still. Yeah. So that's what happened at the moment. Nazra and I, we are retired now. Both of us retired. So I am in the same village I lived for since I was 7 years old, and I'm here. And we work with the church. and the community, and we haven't lost touch with the people, because that's part of your DNA, being a journalist and being a member of parliament. You're always interacting with people. But we had a good time there, and the spouses were, they had a very active group in South Africa. The no, it was the whole of the diplomatic corps, I think. All the spouses used to come to meetings. Yeah. Right.
That's right. You do have good memories then, Harry, from your days in South Africa. And tell me, Harry, you mentioned about being a journalist, and that's interesting because as we are a media platform. So share with us a little bit of your background as a journalist. Tell us any special moment that you remember in your career as a journalist.
You want to repeat that? I didn't get it.
Yes. Could you share with us a bit of your experience as a journalist? Coincidentally, we're a media platform, so it's interesting to know a little bit more of your professional background.
But the thing is, I came into journalism from teaching. I taught for 20 years as a teacher. I served in home and also in the Turks and Caicos Islands in the northern part of the Caribbean. And after teaching, I came into journalism. Now in journalism, the Trinidad Express, which is one of the, at that time it was two newspapers, major newspapers in Trinidad, and the Trinidad Express was one, and I had joined them, and they had put me in the southern part of the country, where I was the editor, the southern editor for the Trinidad Express, and I served from 1976 straight on to as a teacher. I was a teacher until 1976. And I served as a journalist from 1976 straight until 1995, when the political party, of which the first East Indian Prime Minister, he became the first Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Basti Pandey, he had asked me to contest, and I did contest. After a lot of to-ing and fro, because it's not easy to jump from one job into another job just like that, You have to look at all the background and so on. So I did make a decision, and I came into politics today. But in journalism itself, I served in that area in the southern part and covered all the areas: labor, politics, social problems, education. Because I was the chief cook and bottle washer at the time in the newspaper there. So it was an interesting one there. And then I moved on to writing columns. I had a column. One day I would have a column in the newspaper, and then sometimes on a Sunday I would have. And I also took part in editing the paper on a Sunday for the Monday. The Monday paper that was edited on Sunday. Yeah. The thing is, in our time, it's different now because the media has expanded and so on, and it's a lot of competition. So the kind of restrictions we had then, we don't have it now, and I think you should bring it back, right? The thing is, when you had a story, when you got a story, in the newspaper, you have to get at least two people to correlate the story for you before the editor puts it in the paper, right? Now we don't have that. Now you only hear something and they want to run it, which is dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. It can destroy people's character. You can destroy people's lives, right? So I don't know if that will come back again, because you see for example, in Trinidad we have over 20 radio stations, right? We have three major newspapers now, and we have about 20 radio stations. So it might be more, And so they compete for the news, and in competing for the news, who gets it first? And who gets it first is the one who doesn't make no background check. They just put what they hear, right? So but journalism, I think, is very close to people. You have to be very close to people, and you have to understand people, and you have to give them the opportunity to express themselves. Of course, in a decent way, but express themselves. And we are glad in Trinidad and Tobago that we have that kind of freedom. Yeah, have the freedom to say what we think we ought to say within the rules of the game. Yeah.
Of course. No, what you said is very important, Harry, of responsible media, delivering the good news, and also, obviously, keeping always in mind that about freedom of speech, which is one of an important conquest of mankind. And sometimes some countries don't understand the importance of having a free press, but also the free press must obviously act in a responsible manner. So what you have said is very enlightening. So tell me, Harry, now new batch of heads of mission coming to South Africa, high commissioners and ambassadors. What advice, after being all these years in South Africa, do you have for these new coming heads of mission?
Well, I think first of all, a diplomat ought to be listening, right? And not to be too quick to give opinions, but they must be able to listen and get a feel of the community. When I came to South Africa, it was South Africa was something different to what my mental state had been. I was really surprised of the progress in our country, the development. As you pass on along from the airport and you get into Pretoria, you would look around on your right and you would see the skylines, and you almost think you're passing near New York, you're passing through New York, right? With the kind of things that we saw. So that was surprising to me. The infrastructure was also surprising. So when you get there, you may come with some preconceived ideas, because I'll tell you something, the Western media had not been very kind to the African countries. They'd not been very kind. They concentrated a lot on the little skirmishes that you have. We spent when we were there, we spent about I spent close to 5 years there, and I really didn't feel no tension. The kind of tension that you read in the media, you don't feel it when you get there. Yeah, because we were able to walk on an evening around Pretoria there, and every evening my wife and I would go walking. We had no guards and security. We just went walking, and we say hello to people, and people say hello to us, and so on. So you have to the diplomats now getting across it. Don't be too quick to draw an opinion, right? And you have very nice people in South Africa, very friendly people, very nice people here. We enjoyed it.
Well, that's great, Harry. As I said, great to have this opportunity to talk with you again. And just before we go, this is our 10th anniversary edition in 2023. Any piece of advice coming from a journalism like yourself, and obviously a former head of mission, to our media, to Embassy Direct?
Well, the thing is, I haven't been accurate with what's taking place in South Africa at the moment, but I think what's important is if we, and for those of us in the Caribbean, right, who are represented there, what links we could have to increase trade and interaction with people. While I was there, we were trying to, and I think we attended some of the functions there, where we had the steel band. We brought the steel band down. We started a carnival in Bella Bella, in cooperation with some very active people in Pretoria, and we were trying to bring a Trinidad carnival into the fair. We brought on a big one of the major ski bands from Trinidad, Exodus, and they came and they performed. Some of the pans the Exodus had left, we were hoping to pass it on to what's the Soweto. There's a school in Soweto, a Canadian fellow. He has a school, and they were teaching the steelman and so on. So I don't know what happened to that project when I left, but I don't know the bands are still there. I know the bands are in South Africa. So we were trying to see if we can link it, and we had some people from Bella Bella, and I think one other municipality, and they went to Trinidad, and they witnessed the carnival, right? Hoping to come back into South Africa so that they can do something similar to it. So if we can get that link again, because there's a close link between us in the Caribbean and South Africa and Africa on the whole, yeah. So we should try to develop that. Trade of is a good thing, but it's the distance is a problem. Yeah. So we have to find some way. And then what we could do is have a lot of if we could have some these agreements. When Trinidad and Tobago, our embassy, did a lot of work with cultural, but we didn't come to sign in the agreements. Yeah, and air transport and so on. So you need a link. If we can get that link set up, yeah.
Great, Harry. Thank you again, readers and viewers of Embassy Direct. This has been Harry Partap, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So
Thank
long,
you,
Harry.
and good evening. Right. Thanks.